Hello YouTube and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you another movie review that I just saw last night, and it's for the new adaptation of Stephen King's novel, It. That's right, it's finally here, the new telling of the movie, of the so-called miniseries movie that starred Tim Carey. Sorry, Tim Carey. So, now in this new version of it is basically a movie that basically tells a story about a group of kids who basically get ready to start their summer vacation, and the town is not exactly known for, fun and all this cool stuff. It's basically known for a lot of disappearances that's been going on in their town. So, a lot of people are a little, nervous about certain things, but these kids, they live in a small town where they can just do whatever the hell they want, go out, have adventures, and get into some kind of trouble, and, just be kids. And I think this takes place in the 80s. So, anyway, when I first heard they were going to make a It movie, I was like, alright, so a new telling of this, TV movie they kind of made. Because back then, when it first came out, I didn't know it was I thought it was just a movie. So I didn't know it was like a mini TV show. When I saw it, kind of freaked me out a little bit, as a kid. I watched it now, it's like, yay, whatever. It's a cool movie still, but, whatever. But like I said, I never read the book, so I never really understood what Pennywise was. So in this movie, you have the kids doing their thing, and then they basically run into this demented clown that likes to come back every 27 years and feed upon the children of the town. So, basically, I don't want to give too much spoilers here, but I'll just say if you know the book and you know the other, the miniseries, one of the main kids lost their little brother. So I'm not gonna spoil that for you. It's in the trailer, but you don't see him die in that, but you do pretty much get the gist that he does. So one of the main characters' brother dies, and now he's basically on a journey trying to figure out, like, what happened and what's going on in this town. That him and his friends figure out it's about this clown that just comes out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, he comes out of nowhere and he just starts doing the scares. Now, the scares really pick up in this movie, like, from start to finish, and it was great. So basically, I gotta admit, this movie was pretty awesome. Usually for me, when I want to see a horror movie, I want to be scared, because if you can scare me, you do a good job. And this movie kind of freaked me out a couple of times, so that was a good thing. There were so many moments that I'm so glad I did not see all the trailers, because I felt like it would have ruined it for me. But yeah, there was a lot of scares that wasn't even in the trailer, so that was a good job right there, keeping that, sealed and surprised. Because there were a lot of scenes I was surprised. And also, I felt this movie really, really funny. There were moments in that movie there was a lot of people in that theater. We were all cracking up. These kids were great. I don't know the actors' names who played them, but every single one of those kids who played those roles did a really good job with those characters. They kind of remind you, if you grew up in in that time, seeing them do those kind of things. You're like, yeah, we used to do that back in the day, or I used to do that when I was a kid, or, hanging out with friends, hanging out maybe by the train tracks, or playing rocks, or whatever, doing, kid stuff. And, that was a cool time, I guess, back in those days. And like I said, they had a club, they called themselves the Losers, but they technically weren't really losers, they were just a group of friends, because, everybody outside of their circle basically hated them. The bullies wanted to beat them up. Their parents really didn't understand them. So, yeah. But like I said, I enjoyed every single one of those kids. They were all great, including the girl. I think she was the standout character to me. I think her name is Sophia. I forgot her last name, but it's Sophia something. I apologize. But she was, like, my favorite part of that movie. Now let's talk about Pennywise. Pennywise, he was creepy as hell. When I first saw the pictures, I was like, alright, so he's going to be like a 40s style, kind of what the clowns used to be with the 40s style, with the big poofy things around their neck, and the way, black and white style. I was like, oh, that's cool. He worked for me. There were moments he did work for me, and then there were certain things I didn't like about it. But I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed this movie. So let's talk about the negatives really quick. Not that much. Well, as a person who never read the book, I didn't really understand what was Pennywise. I kind of when I went in, I finally figured out what he really was, because I went home and then I looked up online what he really was. So before that, I kind of figured out he was okay. He's a cheap imitation of what Freddy Krueger is, because every time the kids get scared or they divided, he gets stronger. He's able to eat them, better. He makes their energy that he wants to eat more tasty. So I'm like, okay, he's a backwards version of Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger gets his fear power from every single kid's nightmare. So I'm like, all right, he's basically like Freddy Krueger's little cousin, but more in a creepier way. But other than that, I thought he was a cool character. I mean, certain scenes with him popping out, it was like, the CG was like right there. You can tell that I was kind of fake. You can tell right there. But the actor who played him did a really good job. And the other thing I didn't like about this movie that kind of really made me go, okay, there was one scene that just made no sense to me at all. When you see it, you probably would understand it. It's just one thing that Pennywise does in this movie. I'm like, come on, really? I mean, really? Come on. I mean, these kids would have knocked him out easily, and that's it, pretty much. But, he did this one stupid thing that made no sense. And also, I kind of wish that, to close this off, I kind of wish that he stuck with one voice. I felt like he had two voices that made no sense. One voice, he was all sweet and innocent. The next minute, he's like all dark and dreary. Okay, I get you're supposed to be scary, but at least pick a voice that you're gonna terrify these kids. One minute he has a sweet voice, it's like, oh, come here. I mean, it's a creepy voice, don't get me wrong, but still. And then he goes into this dark voice when he's yelling at them. I'm like, dude, pick a voice, man. Seriously, you're not scaring these kids anymore, so you might as well pick one voice. I mean, it's just weird that he kind of went back and forth. That's how I saw it, but I don't know, it felt weird. So, anyway, I thought this movie was still great for what it was. It really gave me a couple of jump scares for myself, and I really like that because I kind of like getting scared at a movie. I want to be scared at a movie. That's the point of a movie, to be scared. I laughed. It felt like watching The Goonies, like a sequel to The Goonies that we all want. If you ever seen that movie, go check that out too. It's a good movie. But, yeah, these kids were great. Pennywise was cool. Certain scenes, yeah, whatever, didn't really work for me, but whatever, they're so small, who cares? But I'm still going to give this movie a really high score. So I'm going to give this movie a 90% out of 100. I really, really dug this movie a lot. It might end up in my top 10 for the year. I don't know yet. But still so many movies that come out. So let's keep it. And hopefully keep it, my fingers crossed for that. So let me know in the comments if you've seen the movie. What do you think about it? And if you also read the book and do you think it's the same adaptation. Or you think it's basically a step-by-step reshot of the TV mini show. Leave a comment below and let me know. Thank you very much and have a good day.